my first buck. My first 6-point buck I got back when I was about 14 years old. There's me when I was about 15, young chap. There's a big old spike and a doe I got. There's a spike buck. I was probably about 15 when I killed them. Nice buck I got. That was my first big buck I got. That's on the wall up here. And there's a freak buck, a big old 8-pointer. Had a big old knot on his head. Come down and a little old 8-point buck with a bow. Back many years ago. 6-point buck I got with my bow. Doe I got with my bow. That's about the worst picture I ever saw in my life. He cut the deer's head off, or cut the deer's almost. Then there's a doe I got back in '96. Another doe. Look at that shot. Boy, that's a good shot. Another doe I got. 5-point buck. Buck and a doe. They got them the same day. The opening day of season. 11-pointer I got. Pretty nice deer. Rattled him in. Decent 8-pointer. Does, more does, another big spike I got in Virginia a few years ago in rifle season. Another doe, 7-point buck I got with a rifle. Look at that. Just decent little bucks. And a lot of memories in this book. Lots of memories. A lot of smaller bucks and some big bucks, a lot of does, a lot of precious memories. This is the first big buck I ever shot. I'll never forget being a teenager and seeing this thing coming up that hillside to me out of that holler, that deep holler, and seeing them antlers coming up. And all I remember is just seeing him through the scope and just putting the crosshair on him and shooting him dropping. That's a great memory right there. And that's a nice buck for anybody's wall right there. And I've shot a few more over the years. In fact, I got 2 more coming anytime now from last year. So I'm not against shooting big bucks. I really enjoy it. But I want to just take a few moments in this video and I want to discuss something heart to heart with many of y'all concerning the future of our deer hunting. That's another buck right there that I shot several years ago in rifle season. Not a huge buck, but special memory with that buck right there. And to me, when I look at this deer right here, even though he's not a giant buck, that deer right there is just as special as that big one right there, just because of the hunt. And really that's what hunting is all about. It's about making memories. It's about the memories that you are going to have every time that you step out in the nature of God's great outdoors with a gun or a bow or a muzzleloader, whatever the case, and have that experience. But one of the things that bothers me as a whitetail hunter today, and it's not really as bad in turkey season yet, but I'm afraid it's getting there. But the one thing that really bothers me as a whitetail hunter is all of the bullying that goes on and all the negativity that goes on when it comes to whitetail hunting. I remember when them pictures when they were taken back in that photo album. I remember them days when you go to the check station, you just have a 6-pointer or a little basket rack 8-pointer, a decent 10-pointer. Or a doe even, and people would come around at the check stations and look at your deer and they congratulate you. And there was a camaraderie among hunters back then that sadly we just don't have today because we don't have check stations as much, or we just don't have the opportunities to really visit with a lot of other hunters. But also there's a mentality that's going on today in our hunting industry that is really bad. And that is that you got to shoot a buck like that, or a buck like that, or or if you shoot a buck like this, then you're not one of the boys, And we're taking away a lot of the excitement away from, especially young hunters, and we're taking the excitement away from a lot of people who's finally got that first buck, who finally got that first branch antlered buck. But anymore, when you post a picture because you're excited on social media, They get bullied. Well, you should have let that deer grow. You should have let that deer go another. And when you say stuff like that, when you comment on somebody's picture and say, oh, imagine what that buck would have been in 2 years. Imagine what that buck would have been in a year. That takes away from that person's joy, and it takes away from their experience. And it's wrong. And I don't know where this all got started. Well, I think I do. You know, a lot of it had to do with that thing right there at television. But a lot of this got started because everybody wants to shoot a big buck, and that's fine. Hey, I've got big bucks. I shoot big bucks. Anybody that knows me knows I enjoy shooting a nice buck, and I've shot several in my life. But let me tell you something. Shooting a big buck is a bonus to me. But somebody going out there and filling up their freezer with good wholesome venison, and somebody going out there and enjoying, maybe a guy that has to work 6 days a week and he only gets a Saturday or a Sunday to hunt, and he goes out there a couple of hours, maybe at daylight, maybe before work, or maybe he's just got that one day to hunt, and he shoots him a deer, the first good spike that comes by, or a big old 4-point buck. Hey man, that guy deserves all the credit in the world. He deserves all of the accolades for that right there, because that's him out there enjoying the sport of hunting. And I'm afraid that we're losing that. I really am. I'm afraid we are losing that little by little because of all of the hype over antlers. You know what? I understand. It is a lot better for the herd management when we take out the mature bucks. But not everybody has a big farm in Kansas or a big farm in Iowa. Not everybody has a big managed neighborhood where all the neighbors are on the same page, and a 140 and a 130 gets passed. Not everybody has that. A lot of guys just have a little place to hunt where they see the first legal buck. That's the one they should take, because they don't have the opportunities a lot of times to hunt places that I hunt, or maybe you hunt. But we are to celebrate. Let's get back to celebrating deer hunting, man. We are driving people away from the sport. I heard about one young man that shot his first buck last year. True story. Shot his first buck last year. He went to church, and when he went to church and he started showing pictures, there were people in that church that were big hunters, big, thinking they were TV star hunters, and they were mocking his little buck. Well, you should have let that pass. You should have got a big one. You should have got. This was his first buck, and he felt like he'd done something wrong, and now he don't even want to hunt. And see, we're running people away from the hunting world because of our obsession with antlers. So I challenge you this year. Go out there and enjoy yourself. If you want to shoot a big buck, more power to you. I'm probably going to be that way too. I've got a couple places, I'm going to be picky. But there are some places that I'm going to go this year that if I see a spike or if I see a 4-pointer, you know what? And it's legal, I got a deer tag, I'm going to put it on the ground. It's all about you enjoying the sport that we've all come to love. I want to have that same enthusiasm that I had when I was that kid in that photo album. I want to have that same joy of the hunt and reliving it that I had back in them. And I've never lost that. Yeah, as you get older and more mature, you want to step it up and you want to shoot bigger deer. And it's not so much about how many you kill now. It's about what you kill. And I understand that. That comes with maturity. But let's never get away from the spirit that made us all what we are today. Let's all come back to being that kid again. And this season, let's don't get so uptight about, well, it's got to be this, or it's got to be a 140, or it's got to be a 130, or it's got to be this, it's got to be, it's 4-year-old, 5-year-old. Listen, let it be the spirit that we're after. And let's come back to the American roots of deer hunting that made us what we are. Because sadly, we're losing that, folks. You're not going to be like the television personality. Stop trying to hunt like that on your 20 acres of land or 50 acres of land that you got in high pressure areas. You're not going to be able to do what they do. So let's don't pretend like we're like that. Get out there and enjoy yourself this coming fall. And I just want to encourage everybody, stop the bullying, stop the nonsense, and let's come back to just being what we were back when we were growing up. Kids that enjoy deer hunting. special buck right there. Hey, take a moment, subscribe to this channel. Also, come and like and follow my Facebook page. The link is down below. Also, check out springfevercustomcalls.com, where you can pick up my Signature Series box call and my mouth calls. They're available on the site. Also, check out So Outdoors. That's a new partnership we've linked up with, and join their media site. Also, the link is down below, and the website and the other links down below. Just stay tuned, because we got a lot more content coming this fall. Hey, I'm just looking forward to deer season, and let's go back to what I said. Let's go back to the passion that we had when we were growing up. It'll make your deer season a lot more enjoyable, I promise.